Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Whitney Ward. Thank you for being here. Kellogg High School students walked out today in protest of a disciplinary decision for one of the seniors. Administrators say that student made unapproved comments about gender.
But now, as a result of today's protest, the graduation ceremony that was supposed to be tomorrow is being postponed. In a Facebook post, the district said, quote, "The Shoshone County Sheriff's Office has informed the Kellogg School District of concerns regarding the safety of students, staff, and families due to a number of outside groups and agitators." KREM 2's Nathan Hyun went to Kellogg to learn more tonight.
I'm standing outside Kellogg High School where earlier today more than 30 students walked out in support of a student who's been barred from walking at graduation. It all started with one sentence at the end of the year assembly.
The seniors got to say one piece of advice or one thing that they wanted to tell the rest of school, and he said boys are boys and girls are girls and there's no in between.
This did not sit well with the school staff.
We could see on some of the faces of some of the teachers that they weren't too happy with his comment.
Students who were participating in the assembly were supposed to submit their speeches beforehand for approval. But the school says when he took the stage, the student read a different speech. The next day, the student was told because he broke the rules, he was no longer allowed to walk at graduation.
I think it's definitely political. I think that if he would have said one side, then it could have been just brushed under the rug and whatever, and he would have been totally fine.
Over the course of the week, students tell me they plan to walk out to show support. Corn Leeling was one of these students.
I think it was successful, at least for us getting our point across, and that we should have a stand and have a say.
Members of the Kellogg community also showed up, and today more than 100 people gathered outside the high school claiming the school was restricting the students' right to free speech.
It was fun to see, and I think a lot of people, supported many different things, and but I do believe we all have one main goal.
The school superintendent tells me it was never about the student's political stance, but because he went off script.
Because of behavior reasons that I can't go into, was told he could not participate in the graduation ceremony.
Superintendent Lance Pearson says the students who walked out today will be marked as absent with no excuse. And as of right now, there's no word on when the graduation ceremony will take place.
We're worried at this point of what's going to come. We don't have a lot of officers within our sheriff's department, and we are going to carefully evaluate whether or not we can hold graduation safely.
As for many students, they hope the walkout makes a difference.
I'd love to see him walk, personally. I think, you spent 12 years in school, at least be able to walk at your graduation.
Even with the protest and walkout, the superintendent here tells me that the student will still be barred from participating in the graduation ceremony. In Kellogg, Nathan Hyun, KREM 2 News.
In other top stories tonight, Spokane police have identified the remains of a body found more than 40 years ago.
In January of 1980, 3 people walking along the railroad, they found the body of a burned man, and due to the injuries, his death was ruled a homicide. They had no way to identify and no one was matching his description was ever reported missing. Well, now, 43 years later, thanks to the genetic lab Othram, they know who he is, Donald Leroy Pearson. Originally from the Midwest, he would have been 54 at the time that he died. They are still working to find out who killed him. This is the second body that Spokane police have been able to identify this year through genetic genealogy.
Passing this budget agreement was critical. The stakes could not have been higher. No one got everything they wanted, but the American people got what they needed.
Just an hour ago, President Joe Biden said he will soon sign the bipartisan bill that would raise the nation's debt ceiling and cut spending.
That legislation allows the U.S. government to continue paying its bills, averting a default and potential economic crisis. The Senate passed the bipartisan measure late last night with more than 60% vote, or more than 60 lawmakers voting in favor. The bill does raise the nation's debt limit beyond the 2024 presidential election.
The Congressional Budget Office estimates it also cuts spending by about $1.5 trillion over the next decade. President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy negotiated the deal, and political analysts say the mixed reactions from lawmakers across the political spectrum make it the very definition of compromise.
Both sides actually made concessions, and we should be, as Americans, proud about seeing our government work in such a fashion.
Joe Biden came into this saying that he refused to negotiate, and at the end of the day, he finally caved and gave Republicans some spending cuts that we needed as a country.
The deal comes just ahead of Monday's deadline when the Treasury Secretary said the U.S. would start running short of cash in order to pay its bills. In the meantime, the paycheck reductions will begin next month for workers in Washington state. The tax is part of the Washington Cares plan. The money will go toward long-term care for those who need it.
So starting July 1st, you will be taxed 58 cents for every $100 you make. So if your salary is $50,000, that's $290 then taken out over the course of a year. Starting in 2026, people who will benefit from that program will then get around $36,000 to be spent on things like wheelchairs, medical transportation, or caregiver. One woman says the money will be life-changing for families who are facing mounting medical bills.
That first $36,000 could have paid for over 1,000 hours of care, which would have allowed us not only to learn to navigate this new lifestyle, to find the resources we needed, but it also would have allowed us, when my mother had this life-changing stroke, for us to have more time as mother and daughter.
All right, taking a break from the headlines to talk weather right now. The weekend is finally here, and with it comes the return of summer-like weather.
Yes, let's send it over to our chief meteorologist, Jeremy Legoo.
Oh, we have a little bit of a breeze, but that's about it. I got really excited for wind.
Woohoo!
Yeah. You got to get excited about something, because if you're not excited about clouds and sun, well, get more excited about the sun, because we don't have any clouds in the days to come. Right now, you ready for this? All right, one more try. Right now, are you ready for this? Aha, 77 degrees. I'm going to call that forecast verified. We have a little more cloud cover than yesterday. We're topping out in the mid to upper 70s, and we do have a slight breeze at times. Overall, it's a rather perfect day. We have a slight amount of moisture in North Idaho. It's not much. Most of that stays up in the Silver Valley or up in some of those higher elevations. No real rumbles of thunder popping up just yet. Some of those earlier down to the south kind of fell apart, but it's not overly widespread once again. Most of our activity stays over in Montana and down to our south. For us, it is going to be a very dry forecast. We might see a stray shower Saturday and Sunday up in the mountains, similar to what we see today. But for the most part, it is nothing but sunshine and nothing but warm. Those temperatures on the rise. 84 tomorrow, 87 on Sunday, and 88 by Monday.